And welcome to another exciting installment of the Terrorisk podcast. This is going to be episode 63. How you doing, Chris? I'm with Chris.
I'm doing well, Chris. How are you, Chris?
Good. Chris, we got Chris squared up in here. So today's episode, we're going to be roasting the Bible. We're going to be reciting some of our favorite proverbs. We're going to be going over. First, we're going to start with. We're actually going to work backwards. So we're going to start with Book of Revelation, then we're going to go back, and it's going to be a good time.
It's a lot. I didn't bring my Bible for reference.
Oh, I got the abridged children's version.
That's the worst one of all.
I've always liked the kids' versions of the Bibles. You know?
Yeah, because they don't mention like the murder and the death and the going to hell stuff.
Yeah, and they also leave out the aliens. The original Bible, the one that predates the King James edition, they include the alien part, but the new versions, the contemporary Bibles, just omit that information.
Cut that out there. This doesn't work. This doesn't play in right.
Yeah. So yeah, but no, I mean, it's a funny thing about like. Okay, so before Moses, everything was pretty much static, right? Nothing crazy was going on. I mean, except guys like hearing voices and No, wait. Was Moses like the first? Who's the first guy to start hearing voices after, like, long after the...
After Adam and Eve?
Yeah.
It's Adam and Eve, then Cain and Abel.
Well, yeah, we know what happened to them.
Then it's Abraham.
Abraham, okay. Cain and Abel is kind of a fucked up story. I mean, it's almost like God purposely made Cain and Abel... get put in that situation just so God could kind of like establish that fucked up nature of mankind, just so he could be like, yeah, Cain, you're a piece of shit, you know. You shouldn't feel resentful because it's all your own fault. Like, and like I see examples of that in society, like people who are just seemingly like put on this earth to suffer. I mean, even though like you could argue there's so many things they could do to fix their lives, they don't do those things because of some psychological hang up or another. I mean, it's a process, right? Like, you know, some people are like so badly depressed that you can't expect them to fucking fix their shit all at once, right? You gotta like be like, well, you know, start small, like clean your room. Oh, you can't do that? Then like pick up, like, you know, like clean your bookshelf. Oh, you can't do that? Then pick up one sock, like one article of clothing a day, you know?
You know what I like?
What?
For Protestants who take the Bible literally, for Cain and Abel. At this point, Adam and Eve have been kicked out of the Garden of Eden, right?
Yeah.
Now they have two sons. There are 4 people in God, as far as everyone knows. There are 4 people in God that exist on the planet Earth. And then Cain gets really jealous because his parents are nicer to his brother than him, and then he kills him, thinking God won't. And then God is just walking around one day, because that's how it's written. Like God just discovers Abel's like dead body, and he's like, "What have you done?" It's like, well, didn't you think God was going to catch you?
Yeah.
There's 4 people in God. God's going to notice if one of the 4 people that exist are missing.
I mean, taking it literally does seem to be kind of always like the goofiest route you could take the Bible. I mean, especially the story of Cain and Abel. Like, it's, if you look at it symbolically, then we know what this shit represents. We know, like, I mean, even take like.
Well, it explains jealousy and things, and resentment and like things like that. Yeah, and it's the first instance of murder too.
But that's the important
and it's
part.
Femicide.
That's the important part. It's pretty much stating that resentment and jealousy aren't just these like innocent little shitty like it could fully blossom into like
if left unchecked.
Yeah, killing your own bro. But you know, like, so symbolically, and the only reason why it's so I guess on some level distressing is because you actually see that shit in real life, right? You actually see people who literally act like Cain, like where, you know, instead of like fixing their own shit, fixing their own ways, you know, like dealing with their shitty thoughts, they're gonna go like kill the Abels of the world.
It's called the middle child.
Yeah. It's funny. It's like, yeah, you're gonna kill the Abel ones, right? I mean, that's why his name was Abel.
Why they name him that? They're like, this one's the good one. Cain, we'll see.
So yeah, there was that. Oh, what was the story of Abraham?
Abraham was in Sumeria, and he leaves Sumeria because because God promises him that he'll like if God tells him like go to this land, I'll give you your own land, and all my children will come from you. You will be the patriarch of my religion, of my peoples, the one true God.
Okay.
So he leaves Samaria with his wife, and they get to, I guess, Cana, whatever the promised land, which becomes Israel eventually. And he's like, you'll have, and like Abraham was already older at that point, and he's like, yeah, like go. He's like, I know you and your wife are pretty old, but you keep trying, keep fucking away, and you'll have some kids. Don't worry about it. And Abraham keeps trying, and it just doesn't work. So he decides, again, he's been listening to his voice. I told him to walk all the way over here.
And now he's shooting
you'll
blanks.
have kids. Yeah, he's shooting blanks. He's like, fuck this. He has like servants with him. Slavery, big okay in the Old Testament.
Oh, yeah.
Big okay.
Well, yeah.
Fucks one of his servants and has Esau. And God's like, the fuck are you doing? I told you to bang your wife. And he's like, I was trying, but this worked better. And he's like, no. He's like, you know what? To punish you, you have to tell your servant and your firstborn son to wander away, to go away. And that's actually like supposed to be where Muslims come from, where like the Middle East comes from.
Oh.
A lot of like those nations. Yeah, I'm serious. Like Persians, like that's supposed to be the son that God sent away because Abraham wasn't listening. Then he finally has Jacob with his wife. And then God's like, awesome, great. Now do me a favor. Take him up to that mountain and sacrifice him for me.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And then he goes to do it. He's like, I was testing you. You're a good guy. Don't kill your son. It's all right.
It was just a test. You know, I had to make sure you were down. Like,
I feel like you had to make sure I was down. I walked all the way over here.
I was going to
It was a long walk. I was going to do it. What was I supposed to tell him? The voice in my head told me to give it a try.
Okay. So, that was all like, you could say that was all intuition based, right? Because those were all like the directives, you know, they would hear the words. Moses was like a lot, like long after that, right?
Yeah. So then after that, like from Jacob, there's the 12 tribes of Israel. He had the 12 sons. One of them is Joseph in the technicolored coat. And it's the same thing. Like Joseph is Jacob's favorite, and his brothers resent that. And I think he's the youngest too. So one day they dig a pit and push him into it, and wait for someone to pass by, and they sell him into slavery. And that person takes him to Egypt and resells him into slavery. Then they tell his dad like, oh, he's dead. They take his coat and they're like, he was killed by wildebeests.
Oh.
We try to save him.
But really, they just
sold him into slavery because they were jealous.
Okay.
Then what do you call it? Yeah, he works in the home of this rich Egyptian couple.
Makes good with them.
Yeah, and then the wife of the husband tries to seduce him.
Oh yeah, he's you gotta love that mandingo.
Oh yeah. And then he's like, no, I can't do that. That's wrong. I like your husband. He's a nice guy.
Yeah, I'm not gonna fuck his wife. I'm gonna fuck you.
So then the husband gets home and she's like, he tried to fuck me.
The classic.
It's like, Joseph, what were you thinking? It's the oldest trick in the book. It's a book that's yet to be written. So then he gets thrown in prison for trying to do that because he's a slave and you can't do that.
Can't fuck my wife.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna have no slave fuck my wife.
The other way around is okay. You could do that. But yeah, and then while he's in prison, he has visions of a great famine and all this stuff. And he has a vision first that affects the Pharaoh, and Pharaoh hears about it, and the Pharaoh's like, "Oh shit!
I gotta kill all the dudes who are those people."
No, like he just tells him, he's like, "Oh, tell the Pharaoh not to do this, or this is gonna happen," and it happens, and he's like, "Oh shit! What else do you got?" And then he's like, there's going to be a huge famine that's going to last for like 10 years or something like that. But it's not going to happen for another 10 years. So let's spend 10 years building up your reserves so when the famine happens, we're all ready. They do that. Famine starts, and they're like, oh, shit, he was right. Goes a high-ranking like advisor to the Pharaoh. Then he goes back and asks them to let his father and his brothers live with them. And he goes back, and his brothers are like, oh, shit, he's back. His dad's like, thought you were dead. And he's like, no, I was sold into slavery and all this stuff. He's like, but you guys are starving because there's a famine. Come live with me.
Okay. living it up.
Then an undetermined amount of time passes after that, and somehow the Jewish people become slaves in Egypt, which there's no historical proof of. And then that's when Moses comes about. Moses was born to slaves, but they passed him down a river to try to like give him a better life. Or, like, we can't take care of him because there was a rule. I think they would have like killed Moses if they found out he had him, because you can't have more than 2 kids. Or slaves couldn't.
Because apparently that was the vision that they had, that or something like that. Like, there was a reason, I think. That
there was probably another reason. I forget the specifics. But then one of the Pharaoh's wives finds him and raises him as her son.
So after that, he has what does he do? He's instructed by God directly or something. Like, he goes into a cave.
Oh, Moses. So what happens is he grows up. He's in the palace or whatever, like his Egyptian royalty. He gets into an argument with like an Egyptian. An Egyptian like worker is like whipping a slave like nearly to death for not working.
Yeah.
So Moses tries to stop him. The slave driver gets into a fight with them. Moses indirectly kills him, and is ashamed by what he did. So he runs away and lives in this small little town for a couple years.
Bad Moses.
Yeah, and then one day he's walking along the desert. There's a burning bush on fire, except it's just burning. It's not falling apart. There's no.
It's like an eternal flame, eternal ember.
Yeah, God, the eternal flame, and God. God tells him, "Hey, I'm God. I know what you did. You have to go to Egypt and free my people,
the Jews."
Yes. And
I feel like that instance was aliens just like coming down. It's like, listen, you gotta free those specific people. Because the aliens probably fucking knew, or time travelers or whatever. Who the fuck knows? But
why would the aliens help out the enslaved Jews? Like, isn't the whole thing they were like, they probably helped out ancient Egyptians even before that, or they helped out like the Mayans and the Aztecs and stuff like that.
I mean, the conspiracy.
But you're saying it's a real conspiracy it's covering up.
History Channel would tell you.
Ancient aliens.
Yeah. History Channel would be like, yo, it's not that they cared to help anyone specifically. It's more like they know what's going to happen. It's like time and space to them is not the same. Like, they pretty much know what, like, if the chain of events will be, so they alter it to their whims, or just make things happen that they know have to happen. Although that's one of the theories, but
so are they keeping the timeline intact?
Yeah, something like that.
So they're not aliens, and they're
time travel, interdimensional time. I don't fucking know, something like that. But yeah, I don't know. That's funny shit. But yeah, so Moses gets his revelation, and he's instructed to build the Ark of the Covenant, which
well, he doesn't build it. The Ark of the Covenant is later, after he gets it. The Ark of the Covenant has the original 10 Commandments in it.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, you're right. That was much later.
Yeah,
after he frees the Jewish people, then they wander around and a whole bunch of shit happens. They fuck up a couple of times, I think.
Yeah, they do.
But they did do that cool thing with the ocean. Oh yeah, so that's like another theory is that they aliens came and gave Moses some kind of technology that allowed him to like do crazy shit like that.
Do you know, like, I forget what it's called now. Oh, they're like the 9 plagues or something like that. That like, so God, like Moses told like the Egyptians, if you don't free my people, like 9 bad things are gonna happen to you, and they were like, yeah, okay, get out of here. And you know what the 9 things are?
What?
So one of them is the sun is blocked out. It's pure darkness for a couple days.
Okay.
One of them is maybe the Nile River, whatever, like a local river, turns into blood.
Okay.
There's a sea of locusts. They eat all their crops.
Okay.
Much of their animals die from some disease. And the last one is death of the firstborn. Those very odd, all these specific things aliens would give people powers to do.
Oh, yeah, you're right. You ever see the movie Prince of Egypt?
Yeah, so that's Moses.
It's a good fucking movie.
You know how many times I've seen that movie? I went to a private like Protestant Baptist school. It was horrible. I've seen the movie 1,000,000 times.
That does sound terrible. If you have to, if you're forced to see it like 1,000,000 times. Did you ever?
Because I was like, yeah, kids, that time of year again. Prince of Egypt, Joseph in the Technicolored coat.
Did you ever see The Passion of the Christ?
Yes, in Catholic high school, there was a day every year that we had to watch it. Well, it's not true. I think it was like every other year had to watch it.
Yeah.
Together. So I watched it twice, but only because I had to. Half a day of high school was dedicated to watching that movie.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Fucking
No test on it.
Mel Gibson is bananas, but at least I think he's got somewhat of a moral compass. Even if I probably don't agree with every one of his morals, but at least he errs on the side of trying to do right by God, I guess. He's religious, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. That movie's just Bible porn.
It's
so over the top.
It's a snuff film.
Yeah, it's just so over the top because it's something I've seen. Because I've seen every cartoons of it, like going to that school I went to. Yeah. I saw, is that one with Charleston Heston or something like that? Probably, I don't know, from like 20s or 30s.
Yeah.
So I've seen documentaries they showed us about like how slowly, like what killed Jesus and like how long it took. Like it's like, oh, he was stabbed here, he was bleeding from here. Like it went into gory detail. So that movie is just like, yeah, just Bible porn.
Remember that interview we watched last time with Mel Gibson?
That was interesting.
That was
very interesting.
That was a good fucking interview.
That's weird.
I think about that shit all the time. Like he was like, surely that can't be. And then later on, he's like, and then it turns out later down the track that you were right on point. I mean, not about everything, but generally, you got the general gist of it. And it's like he just didn't go into detail, but it sounded fucking.
That's so weird.
Yeah.
Because it's just like what is he talking about exactly? But like at the same time, like if I think he's talking what he's talking about, like it's no wonder he's so coy about it.
Yeah.
And freaked out about it.
I mean, it could be a couple different things, ranging from like the purely ridiculous to like still pretty fucking sufficiently distressing. Like, I mean, like we're straight up talking about anything from actual demons to just like satanic ritualists to like, just like child sex trafficking rings, facilitated by Hollywood and shit. Which is, either way, it's like no matter how you cut it, like, and it's fucked up because it's like, it's not that any of us like want that to be, but it's fucked because like if you found that out about Hollywood, you'd be like,
you can't really do anything about it.
It's also like, am I really surprised? It's like, are you really that surprised if something like that came to light?
No.
Exactly, because you are. It's like we already feel it. We don't know it, but we fucking feel it.
I wouldn't be surprised, but like I wouldn't like go around claiming that's exactly what it is because there's just not. Don't really have proof, but it could be, but there's just not proof.
It's also one of those things by nature, like if it were true, there would probably be much effort placed into making sure there's like no evidence and like so many resources, like so much money, so many resources.
Well, yeah, but that's why people in like very powerful positions can do things like that. Like that's it. Some people could just find out and they try to say something or do something, like Mel Gibson. Then all of a sudden he's really drunk, just driving on the highway one day, ranting anti-Semitic things. Very odd.
Not Mel Gibson, Martin Lawrence.
Yeah, the Dave Chappelle one inside the actor studio when he talks about how Martin Lawrence went crazy.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, think about it. He's like, this man's not crazy, but what had to make a man who's not crazy like go this insane? He's like he had to see something sick.
Yes.
Something that like something made him freak out like that because that's not what he does.
I agree. I think who I think is in it on it? Fucking Will Smith. I think he's part of that circle of like Hollywooders that would do like icky stuff like that.
I don't know. I mean, you'd have to be the top of the food chain. You can't be in the middle guys.
I mean, he's not a little fish.
No, he's not. That's what I'm saying. I mean, I don't want to make any baseless claims about anybody.
What, that Will Smith is actually a reptilian agent?
It's crazy how the mic just moved away from me just then. So no one could interpret that I said this.
Yeah, fucking Will Smith, man. I don't know. He might be a reptilian. I mean, at this point, like I've learned to like mildly accept the possibility maybe even probability that there are fucking reptilian overlords like manipulating us and psychically torturing us.
I'm still waiting on that new UFO information.
Which one?
The ones you were talking about. The ones.
There's always videos about it, and they're always like referring to Congress, saying like, oh, Congress has made this decision moving forward, and I do believe that like no one in Congress knows shit. None of them know anything about this shit, but this whistleblower made them think about it, and that's the only really mildly interesting aspect, right? But fucking yeah. So if I've watched some of the interviews with members of Congress talking about it, and they're like, a lot of them, like the way they describe the debriefing, they're like, well, a lot of times I just wouldn't agree to a debriefing, because here's what they'll do. They'll take you into a sealed room, no phones, no electronics, no nothing, and then they'll tell you something you already know, but you don't know that you already know because they haven't told you, but they say this cannot leave this room by law, by constitutional law. So they'll tell you something.
I'd be like, no, thank you.
Yeah,
I'm going home.
They tell you something you
Don't tell me
already know.
anything.
So it's like you didn't learn anything new, but now you know something that you're just not allowed to talk about. You know, because that's like a trap that they just like say like, yeah, I don't want that to fucking happen to me. Like,
yeah, I'd rather just not know it all.
yeah. So now they're apparently corroborating more with like the witnesses and actual witnesses and like hearings and stuff. And so I don't know. We'll know. We don't know. Maybe they will come out and just admit, like the government will just be like, yeah, we've been hiding some aliens from you for a pretty fucking long time.
Can they say that though? That's just a silly fucking thing. I still wouldn't even believe them if they said that. I'd be like, nah. I mean, like, what else are you doing? What's really going on? Like I told, like if they came out one day and they're like, all right, listen, yeah, we've known about aliens for a while, we work with them, here they are. I'd be like, what's really going on? Like what super fucked up thing happened you had to admit on, like, because it'll be like, it had to be a random day.
Yeah. I think it could be like what's about to happen. You know, like maybe it's getting to a desperate situation where there is like a foreseeable doomsday scenario on the horizon that normal people maybe just can't. Maybe we just can't see. Maybe we're not allowed to see it. Maybe we're not, supposed to see it. But yeah, that could be the case where now that there's a doomsday scenario, they have to like take more steps to figure out a solution where it's like, the government can, first of all, apparently, like, I forgot where I heard this, but they were like, people who were allegedly saying the government's been doing research on like recovered alien artifacts and technology, and they were saying like, oh, the reason why development was so slow, one of the reasons why the development is so slow is because it's all secret. Like, you have different people across different things, like researching different things, not knowing what the fuck they're really looking at. They're just, doing their own piece of the thing, and it's all like disjointed. So that's why apparently it takes so long. But if something bad is on the horizon, then they have to speed that up, which means they have to make this shit open to be researched by like the private sector, because I think now the private sector really did kind of catch up with like government capabilities with like technology and stuff,
They almost seem better, or they're more proficient with it.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, we can't know for sure what precisely the government can do, but if we know one thing, it's that the private sector did get like really fucking advanced. I mean, like AI, like language models and shit just came out of nowhere, and it's like life changing for some people. Like a lot of people are using it. I've used it for like a bunch of things. Like, you ever use things like ChatGPT?
Oh, like AI? Well,
Yeah.
there's yes. Yes, I have.
What do you use it for? Anything naughty?
No. No, I haven't used it at all. I've seen it used as yes, don't.
Trying to think of some of the things I've used ChatGPT for. I've used it.
That's what I use it for.
Yeah, I've used it as like a kind of like a study buddy. Like, when I was taking this online course for digital marketing, if I see like a video and I want to take notes and I didn't want to write down the whole thing, I would just like copy paste it, and I'll tell Bard, I'll be like, yo, summarize this and just keep the most important bits, and I would just write that down. So yeah, it's really useful as a tool for like learning, I think. I'm gonna see what else I could learn with using it. Maybe I could learn another language. Like, give me a study plan to learn Korean, Chinese, Russian.
Summarize Korean.
Yo, can you talk into the mic?
Oh yeah, summarize Korean.
Yeah.
Forgot I moved at the time.
Yeah. Fuck. Are you planning to leave the country anytime soon?
Not exactly. Why do you ask?
No, I just wonder. I've been thinking about it. I've been thinking about taking a little vacay. You know?
Yeah, I haven't planned one this year, but I do. I have. I've left. Been out of here. Can't keep me.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. You still like the spot you're living at?
Yeah, it's fine. It's good.
Yeah.
It's a good deal. I don't know. I don't hate it. I mean, I could move, but it'd have to make sense.
How long have you been there?
8 years.
Damn. See, I'm only asking. I'm thinking about it because I basically just went through my first year living here. You know, I think it was only in June, or the end of May, or the beginning of June. I had to renew my lease, and it made me think, like, how long am I actually going to stay here? I mean, I do like the place, but I don't know. Maybe I'll think about moving sooner than later. You never know.
Mhm.
I guess, like you said, if it makes sense.
And like, I mean, the longer you stay somewhere, the harder it is to like pick up and move. Merely because like of how much shit you can accumulate.
Yeah, it does take a lot. Moving in general takes up fucking a lot of willpower for sure.
Yeah, I don't want to. It's been so long. Like the next time I do it, like it's gonna be the last time I do it for a long time. I'd have to be moving into like a house that I bought. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I'm just not moving again. Otherwise, just like it's got too much crap, and then like the whole like stress of like now let me box up all my crap, and what order do I move this in?
Holy
I'm up
shit.
2 flights of stairs. I got a tiny little door. It's terrible.
Holy shit, you're right. I gotta make sure I don't accumulate too much crap.
That's what I mean. Yeah, just don't.
Yeah, so I gotta remember to like actually throw shit away.
Well, not even that, but even like when you get like furniture, I moved in with like much less furniture than I have now. Like over time, like from being there, that's what I mean. Like not just little crap. Like I bought like I had a small TV stand. I buy a bigger TV and a bigger TV stand.
You know what? That's precisely.
I bought a new dresser. I bought like that's what I mean. Like
yeah, that's why I like my minimalist setup. Well, it's not even that minimalist, but it's not too much shit right now.
yeah.
And also, like, most of the furniture I got, it's the kind of shit that's cheap enough to just leave here if I really,
That's always good too. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I love cheap furniture. I'm a huge fan of cheap furniture.
Because dude, this shit I have to take apart. Like I don't want to take my fucking bed apart. It came up in pieces, so I never actually put the whole thing in and out of a house.
Yeah, just leave it.
No, it's really nice. I spent a lot of money on that one.
Oh.
So that's what I mean. Don't buy things you like. Have
Right.
minimalist things you either want to like you could leave, or that you got in here the way like you remember how you got it in here.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. I mean, also, like, I feel like furniture of the future or modern furniture should be, like, really minimal. It should be easy. It should be built with, like, to, like, moving.
Well,
in
yeah,
mind.
but there's two things. There's shit built for that, shit built to be sturdy and last. Like,
Yeah.
if you have a house, you don't want stuff that looks like you could just pack it up at a moment's notice.
Yeah. Shit. You know what? That's actually not a bad business to get into, like furniture. I mean, if you actually utilize like smart design principles in terms of like, I mean, what is good design? First of all, good design is like it's friendly.
Depends.
It's good for the environment. It's what else is good design? It's conscious. It's conscious. It's actually conscious of, I don't know. I've read I've watched like some videos and like lectures about design theory before, and I don't remember the principles because I don't know. It turns out design wasn't really that important for what I was doing, but some of like what I've heard there I could imagine being applied to something like furniture, because like we all need furniture. That's a very, it's not like a niche market. It's a market that's always going to be in demand. People are always going to need fucking furniture.
Yeah, absolutely.
My favorite kind of furniture is like storage. Like I like shelves.
Yeah, those are nice. Like I don't have too much stuff that I have like locked in my closet. It's like extra stuff that I came with.
Yeah.
So I have two. I have one walk-in closet, one small like utility closet. And yeah, it's got a bunch of shelves on both sides. It helps everything.
I'm getting really into the idea of buying shit to hang. I want to be able to hang some shit.
You don't have hangers. You don't hang up clothes.
No. Like pictures and stuff. Like wall stuff.
So wall stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, wall stuff's nice. It makes empty walls look full.
Yeah. I feel like that does a lot to really like affect the vibe or the energy of a place. something you kind of take for granted because it's something that's just stuck on the wall. But when you actually see it up, and sometimes it's like something that's actually eye catching, and you're like, what the fuck is that? I always like visiting places where they just have a bunch of weird shit hanging everywhere,
so it's good conversation pieces.
Yeah, like a lamp with like human teeth embedded in it. It's like, what the fuck is this? Like, I've seen
it gives you shit to talk about too.
Yeah. I think some of the stuff is like really. I mean, whatever. If it's yours and you spent your money on it, you like it, fuck it. But some stuff, man, it's just like really bad. Like a huge statue of something. It's like that just takes up so much fucking space.
As long as it's an honest reflection of the person. Like my dad's parents' house. They're both they're old Irish people, and their house is naturally features a lot of pictures of Jesus and John F. Kennedy. And the rest of the family.
I bet they love RFK.
RFK?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, they love JFK more though. I mean,
RFK is like trying to like go for the presidency.
RFK Jr.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, they don't. They're Democrats.
They're what?
They're Democrats.
Oh, so they don't like RFKJ?
They probably wouldn't. I don't know. Well, my grandfather passed now, and my grandmother doesn't pay attention to that.
Cool.
I'm just saying, like they're old Irish Catholic people, so their house just has like way too many pictures of Jesus. And John F. Kennedy.
John F. Kennedy kind of was like Jesus for a bit.
For the Irish Catholics in New York.
He was trying to expose the you-know-who's, and you definitely don't do that. Like,
the secret societies.
I mean, regardless of, even aside from that, he did say he was going to like, reveal or instill more transparency within like intelligence agencies.
Yeah.
Yeah. We think like, apparently, like, we think of like the most deepest, darkest levels of intelligence is with like the CIA, but apparently like the Office of Naval Intelligence has been into always been into like the craziest shit. They're always around the most insane shit, apparently, because like, a
lot of shit happens in the water.
Yeah.
Big ocean out there.
Yeah.
Who's paying attention to all that ocean?
Like when a lot of those like reported UFO sightings and shit were usually from like airline pilots and like cargo ship fucking captains and crew members, and it would always happen out there, which makes sense. Like, and those are the people who pay the closest attention to their surroundings because that's their job. They're trained to do that. So, who knows the kind of crazy shit you could probably see out there,
Probably do see some crazy shit. I mean, it's just there's a lot of space between, between North America and Europe and the Eastern and Western Hemisphere.
Yeah, bro. 70% of our planet's covered in this stuff. Some of the those
are the alien highways. It's their highway lanes.
Just hearing some of the accounts are like insane to me though, like because the description itself is just like is chilling, like imagine seeing something the size of like an aircraft, and you're just flying in this regular passenger jet, and then you see something like I think they said something like three aircraft carriers or something. It was that huge, and it's just like you look and it's right next to you, and it must be scary. Like, I'll be like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah, it'd be fine. As long as the pilot doesn't scream, what the fuck is that? Ladies and gentlemen, there's something green on our right side. The starboard window, by the starboard wing.
We got some.
Oh my God. It's them. I was always warned about them.
Yeah. I think nowadays, like, there's more ways, because everyone's got a smartphone with a camera now, right? So it's like, I think that's why like a lot of strange sightings are popping up. Like, we could all agree, like, that just makes sense. The more people there are with devices that record shit and post it, like, the less you could really hide.
Are you implying that maybe spaceships, or that these aliens can cloak even when they're going through warp?
I think the most plausible theory at this point, I'm not saying this is true, but a lot of like the connecting threads between different accounts of like how they fucking actually travel and do interstellar travel, how they go from system to system in different galaxies. Apparently, the way to do it is utilizing like literally like a psychic dimension. Like it's a whole nother dimension.
Well, it'd
that you
be the
ca-
fourth dimension. You'd have to,
yeah.
because it couldn't like make moving through. There's just no way to travel. Like in space, long distances like that.
Unless
Like if warp travel were possible and there was a warp bubble around you, and that's how, because you can't. It's not about speed at that point. It's moving through space. But like it's still like, even though it might take you, if the trip is supposed to take like 5 years, but it only takes you 2 minutes because you're in warp 10 the whole time. Like that time still passes for the place you're getting to.
Yeah, yeah. So the working theory is like all points in space and time are connected through ESP, through fucking the fourth dimension, through that. So when you access travel through the fourth dimension, you basically break the barriers of time and space. You could go from like here to Andromeda in literally like a matter of minutes, or you could do insane shit, like do crazy.
Yeah, you move up and down, left and right diagonally, and other things we don't get.
Yeah, and who knows how it works exactly. I've never been inside one of these things or even know what they actually explicitly look like, but I could make sense of it conceptually. You know, if there were devices, and not devices, like vehicles that literally can just go into like a psychic dimension. And you know what's cool? We thought, you know, oh yeah, it's like Star Trek. It's like, no, it's probably more like Warhammer 40K, you know, like with their version of like the warp, because that's how they describe it. Like it is like a psychic dimension where that connects, you know, huge spans, and you gotta be skilled and have the proper psychic and physical defenses to go through the warp without becoming corrupted and dying and going crazy.
Makes sense.
Also, like another movie that did that was Event Horizon. I don't know if you saw that.
I didn't.
It was a horror movie.
Who was in that? Who directed that?
I couldn't tell you, but it's a cult classic. And apparently, like some of the scenes were like it had a reputation for being so disturbing of a movie. But yeah, it's worth a watch. I think you'd like it. A lot of people like say like, oh, it's in canon with Warhammer 40K, and I thought that was pretty clever because it does like, it does kind of work. Like I could see how you could make that claim and get away with it, and it's a fun little fan connection, I guess you could call it.
It does not have good ratings.
It's like I said, it's a cult classic. You know, it's not like a blockbuster hit. It's literally like.
Man, you know all about those big blockbuster hits.
Yeah, is that what you're into?
That's all I watch, man.
Well, you better watch more A24 movies then, because that is what's in right now. That is the hot shit.
What is that?
A24 movies? You know, like Uncut Gems. Fucking. That's probably the only one I can think of on top of my head.
I do like that movie though.
Yeah. What other A24 movies can I think of? Fuck, I'm having like a complete. Fucking Midsummer.
Oh, okay, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, it's that distributor. I think they specifically are known for like producing and releasing those. I wouldn't even call it offbeat, but just like a lot of times creepy, scary, artsy. Yes, definitely artsy. Definitely fucking artsy. I mean, I'm not really so into. I like some of them, like Uncut Gems. Everyone likes Uncut Gems.
It's fun.
Everyone likes Anxiety, the movie.
It's because it's great.
It's also that movie was like an absolute huge win for Adam Sandler.
Oh yeah, it was just like, oh, he can act. This is cool. I mean, I've heard people say like, yeah, whatever. He's playing like he's playing a Jewish guy that's with a gambling problem. It's all over the place. I'm like, well, yeah, but he's doing it so well. It's like I've seen that guy. I know that guy.
Didn't he win an Oscar for that?
No, I don't think so. I don't think they give you Oscars for streaming movies.
Uncut Gems wasn't in theaters?
No.
Oh.
I don't believe it was. Could be wrong. I don't really care much if something's streaming or something has an Oscar. I mean, usually it's good, but
I do know Adam Sandler is like notoriously known as being like one of the worst actors of all time. I think he had like a couple of Raspberry Awards and shit.
Oh, well, yeah. Because, I mean, most of his movies are just like cheap comedies that, you know, he just kind of acted like Adam Sandler in.
I think he was in some cool shit. Like Punch Drunk Love was cool. Spanglish wasn't great, but it wasn't terrible. I actually kind of like Spanglish.
I didn't see Spanglish. Spanglish, he's Adam Sandler in, though, a little bit, right?
I don't know. I don't fucking know. I liked 8 Crazy Nights.
It's a good movie. My God, that movie's offensive.
Yeah, it is.
Oh yeah, you can't. I don't know if I could watch that again.
I'm
It's really
definitely-
good though.
I'll definitely rewatch that. Put that on for the kids.
I was way too young when I watched that.
Yo, so if and when you had children of your own, what movies would you like? There'll be so many movies I would have to show, not just like my hypothetical children, but anyone's kids. I'd be like, oh yeah, you gotta watch. Like, fuck, so many movies, and it's only that list is only growing with each generation. You know that,
Sure.
right? Like,
Well, I remember once. I think it was with my dad. We were watching TV, and he's scrolling through, or maybe he walked. Like I was watching TV, and then so like Caddyshack 2 was on.
yeah,
A friend of mine really liked Caddyshack 2. That's what he told me. I never seen it. I think it was like 11 or 12. It was like 11. I never seen it. So he just like, yeah, it's good. And I saw it come on. And I'm like, all right. So I was watching a little bit of it. And my dad's like, what the fuck are you watching? And I'm like, Caddyshack 2.
2.
He's like, Caddyshack 2? I'm like, yeah, it's my friend's favorite movie. He's like, your friend's an idiot.
no,
He's like, don't watch. He's like, this isn't a good movie. He's like, I'll get you a good movie. And like a few days later, he gave me Caddyshack. He bought it on DVD.
yeah,
And
it's
he's
a
like,
good
go watch
movie.
this.
It's a good movie.
Oh, it's a great movie. But I'm saying like that was like his like, okay, I'm gonna show you this. Even like I was still probably too young for it, but yeah, I would think it's just because he heard that I didn't know what Caddyshack was.
Yo, comedies were a lot, I think, better back then.
Yeah, different.
Different. Then again, there were some instant classics of our era specifically. We had Superbad. I mean, a lot of people hate on that movie, but a lot of people fucking love that movie. That one's good.
At our age, yeah.
He's like, I wasn't allowed to. do you know what foods are shaped like dicks? The best foods. Yeah, that movie was fucking sick. Oh yeah, and also Pineapple Express. I don't know, that wasn't as good as Superbad. I think Superbad was miles better than Pineapple Express.
Yeah, I think so.
Let's see.
Like those just like I don't know, those are summer blockbusters, those summer comedy blockbusters that don't exist anymore. There's no big comedy movie every year. There used to be. Just The
We had-
Hangover is.
And then there was like those Clerks and Clerks 2. Well, Clerks.
No, those aren't summer blockbusters.
No. I'm saying like that I was around for. I don't know if I was. I think Clerks 1 was definitely before my time.
Yeah, no, it was like 1994 or something.
Yeah, and then Clerks 2 came out, and I was definitely like I was definitely old enough to like check that out, and that was pretty offensive a little bit.
Nah, not that bad.
I liked it. I liked the movie.
It was fine.
It's like an oversized clit. What's next? A chick with an undersized dick?
I don't remember that.
Oh man.
It's better. I mean, it's better than Jay and Silent Bob too. That wasn't the best thing.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, it wasn't great.
What do you think about all these new fucking Jurassic Park movies?
I don't care.
No?
No,
You don't like Chris Pratt?
no, I like Chris Pratt. The first movie was fine. I just don't like. It's not like it's bad and I won't watch them. I saw the first one, and it was good. I enjoyed it. It was fine, but I just don't care. Like it's just not like Jurassic Park to me is like a perfect movie. Why would you remake a perfect movie? I've already seen it. It's already the best it could possibly
Well,
be.
it's just more like a sequel.
I know.
They're not great. I mean, I don't know.
That's right. It was a sequel. Just like I don't know. It's over with. The first one's the best one. Lost World's really good, and just how many times you keep going like, oh shit. There's a lot of like there's an island with dinosaurs. They got overrun. Don't go there. Except you can bring some back to the zoo, and they're like, oh shit. All right, you know what? No one go there. And then they get rid of them, I guess. And then the new guy starts cloning them. No, it's like Dr. Lou or whatever his name was.
I think it was the last. I don't know if it was the last one, but it was one of the Jurassic Park movies, the newer ones. It was they got the whole crew together. They got the original.
Oh, that's
actors.
right.
I mean, that was kind of like a nostalgic moment, right? You know, you
That's what they do. That's for us. That's to get us back in there. Yeah, you remember these guys, right? We're like, yeah, we do.
It's a trap, though.
Yeah, and they're like, we know that you're the demographic we want now. You have the most money. Well, you should. You buy the most useless shit. Come on, you want this. You're like, all right.
Yeah, you got
okay."
me. All
Yeah.
right.
They did that with that Ghostbusters movie. Someone was like, do you want to see that? I'm like, no. Like, I get it. Like, they're all together, but they're all old. And like, I know what they're going to do. All these movies do that.
Yeah. Actually, do you remember that weird? It's not even that weird, but there was that whole zombie trend where it was just everything was about zombies. Like,
Yeah, that happens in Hollywood. Like, there's like everyone starts making a movie around the same time, like about similar things. That's just like what's hot or whatever.
Yeah.
So like they all seem to like they all kind of come out in bunches because of that.
Well, now that died out because they just do that. They just use Netflix and Amazon Prime and streaming to do that shit. You know, like every time something like, and it's not even just movies. I've noticed it. Like if there's like a new trend in society, like in the news cycle or something. Like let's say there's I don't know, some environmental thing or some AI thing or some sort. And then I would like turn on Netflix and go through like the feed and like the queue, and it would be all about those specific things, like movies about those things, like movies about AI or whatever. So it's kind of weird how like they could kind of tap into that, but like deep down it is rational. Like if they have the technology to do that, obviously they're gonna fucking do that. They're gonna want to show you shit that you find relevant. And if it's somehow betrayed that everyone's attention is on specific things like through social media, then they're gonna be like, all right, let's show them fucking movies. Like let's give them some of the classics. Let's give them some of the newer shitty ones. Let's give them some of the vaguely related nonfiction ones. Like stuff like that.
Yeah. Well. Yeah, they're trying to advertise to you. They want your attention. They want.
Yeah, well, I guess what's really notable is how good they got at it and efficient, and how quickly they could like pick up on those like trends as they happen.
That's because we put all of our thoughts on the
social
internet.
Media. Yeah, exactly.
And then someone else sells that information to these companies, and then that's why they're so good at it.
But you know what?
Because they know us.
I think we have to get rid of this.
They know us better than anyone else.
Maybe it's not even like that anymore. Like maybe it's literally gotten to because like if you think about the idea of what are they gonna buy packets of data and archived posts that people like records of what people posted and looked at?
Sure.
No, what they're really doing is they're giving them real time access or real time backdoor access to like the user analytics in real time. It's like, oh, this is what they're currently all searching right now. Once you just look it up, they're giving them access to this tool, which is basically the bird's eye view of like being able to categorize and like view everything at once, like privately and publicly, what everyone's posting and thinking about. So yeah, that's my tinfoil hat theory about how social media is controlling everything. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I got distracted by the cat. Yeah, they're buying our thoughts. Buying the questions we ask, the things we look at.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
How do you do that?
How do you do what?
Say, how do you do that?
How do you do what?
Nothing. I tried to stop him from getting up here. I was like this, and he very gracefully landed on me and then moved along.
Yeah, nothing stops him.
No, he's pretty good.
He's a healthy little cat,
I'm really stoned and now I'm distracted by a cat. It's the darndest thing.
I've been thinking about getting a second cat because he's a little clingy, and look, I love him to death, but I think he needs another little friend at some point. I think that's one of the biggest reasons why I was considering moving, because then I would have like the space to get another cat.
Are you going to say give each other both space?
No, get another cat. If I got a second cat, then he'd have a little friend.
It's true.
And they could play together.
They teach each other stuff. Then they turn against you and plot against you.
Yeah.
Because he'd be like, I know how to run this place. I've seen him do it.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, like, I start getting texts from your cat, from your phone.
Yeah, I feel like me and this guy have some kind of, like, spiritual bond or something. He seems very fond of me. I'm very fond of him. We're good buddies. Do you have a cat yet?
No.
Are you gonna get one?
No, I don't think so. No, well, I'm at my place. Can't.
You asked already?
Yeah, they told me when I moved in I couldn't, so.
Oh, you couldn't?
Yeah.
Shit.
Can't be done.
Well, it's all good. Yeah, I mean, honestly, cats are probably like the ideal pet in New York, because aside from being like relatively low maintenance compared to a dog, they're also incredibly useful for like pest control. I mean, that's not why you should get a cat, but they're really good at it.
That's why you got bodega cats.
Yeah, the manager.
Yeah. There's a lot of working cats out there.
Yeah. Any spot that sells you Lucy's probably has a cat lurking around in it. Any deli you go to where you seek to order a bacon, egg, and cheese with salt, pepper, ketchup, or a beef patty with cheese on cocoa bread? You ever have that?
Yeah, it's too much.
Too much bread, right?
Yeah, it's too much bread.
Too much carbs.
Yeah.
Too much carbs. I agree with you, actually. That's why I don't get that anymore. I used to munch the fuck out.
I had it a few times. It's pretty good.
Yeah, I also used
Pretty
to.
bad for you. It's pretty good.
Yeah, it is pretty bad for you. But I used to fuck around with chopped cheese, but I got super tired of that. It was that's a bad sandwich.
It's a very silly sandwich,
Yeah, because it's so fucking messy for no reason.
but it's tastier when it's messier.
Is it?
I feel like it is. I don't know. It's a whole new texture.
Honestly, I think one of the most underrated sandwiches from like a shitty, dirty deli like that would be the Philly cheesesteak. Like if they got the flatbed grill, I could always just get the Philly cheesesteak. You know, they bring out those ghetto steak slices. They just slap it on the grill, throw it on.
It's true. Well, it wouldn't be the worst thing.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure they could even put like onions on it for you.
Yeah, you can't order that at night.
No, I think that's more of a Staten Island deli kind of thing. And I do think Staten Island has some pretty like cutting edge delis, you know?
Yeah. They're still delis. They serve like good food. They're clean.
And they're open and they'll give you like the full service, like 24 hours. Like there's a lot of delis out here where you could just still go in at any hour and get like the biggest, fattest sandwich with fries. What?
Oh, is it great? It's like 1 a.m. I'm hungry, but I have $10. Oh, I know what I'll do. I'll get a sandwich.
Well, oh yeah, $10. If you only had $10 in Staten Island, you definitely if it's like you definitely have to get a sandwich. Or like, what I would probably do with $10 is I would go into a deli, get like a cream cheese bagel, like toasted. I would crush up like a bag of like hot chips in it, and I would get a Lucy, and like a soda.
I've done that.
Or an Arizona iced tea.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I would, that's what I would eat
It's
at
been
like
a long time since I've done that.
And then I would wait for the train because I just missed it. You know, like, so I'd be like, well, gotta eat this shit right now and then smoke that cigarette. Hopefully by the time I'm done. And this is probably around a time before I had like an actual like smartphone. You know, I just had like a phone, color screen phone. And so I'd be sitting there waiting for the train. I'm like, wow, this is life. And boy, is life different now. Like,
Yeah, right.
yeah. I should take the train sometime just for the fuck of it, see what it's like.
Yeah, I mean, I hate the heat so much, but I've been trying to take it more.
Really?
It's right. I mean, it's like 10 minutes from my house. If I have to go somewhere close to it,
True. Where do you take the train to?
talk to the town. I've done that.
Okay. You're like one of the kids
One of the kids.
taking public transportation?
No, the responsible adult. All right, on my own thing.
I would probably take the Uber because I'm just a princess like that.
Yeah, the Uber's better.
It's expensive as fuck though. Especially, it's not getting any cheaper.
No, I mean like to get 15 minutes from my house, it's like $25. To get anywhere in Staten Island like costs like $50 normal, like a quiet day.
Could you
Quiet night.
imagine if Uber goes belly up and like then there's no local cab companies because Uber already pushed them all out?
Well, yeah, I mean that could happen.
Yeah.
Well, no, there's Lyft. There's other like ride sharing apps. Somehow ride sharing apps would have to die, but that's not happening.
Yeah, I think I don't know. Uber, I don't know if Uber's even like if they're even profitable because I knew they weren't for a long time because they literally were 100% self-assured that they were going to just take over the whole game.
And they did it first, but
a lot of problems came up because they were like hustling in too many places all at once.
Mhm.
It what kind of was like a full-scale invasion of the world, you know, in a sense, just in the world of like taxi cab business, you know.
Mhm.
But they really were doing like some kind of like global invasion campaign.
Yeah, I remember taxi medallions like what used to cost.
What, for the cab, the car?
Yeah.
I don't know.
What a taxi.
Wasn't like something ridiculous, like six figures or some shit?
Yeah, it was like 250,000, 350,000, like something like that. Like right before Uber like started getting really big, and now it's worth like
Shit.
much less.
That's
It's not. Yeah, it's worth much less.
So you couldn't. So back in the day, like what would they like? What would a guy do? He would buy a medallion car and then hire drivers to drive it.
Yeah, and you loan it out to them, and they pay you a cut for using your car every week. So that was the thing. You'd work, you'd buy a medallion, and then like, yeah,
Quit, retire.
yeah. Well, you just have, I don't know if you could retire on that money, but yeah, it's just free money at that point.
True.
And it's always yours. And like, if someone wants to buy it, the value was constantly going up. So like,
Not anymore,
yeah,
kid.
it hit a point.
That must have really fucked a lot of people.
Yeah, it did. Well, yeah, the ones that have medallions, like, I mean, there's probably guys who had a few, and that's how you get cab companies.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, like maybe the guys who just had one. I don't know. Like my friend's dad did that. He used to he used to pay someone like to use their medallion and pay them a cut. And like when Uber came around, like he was complaining about it a lot. And then he just eventually like my friend was like, "Yo, just do Uber already. Like you're not making any money doing this." His dad started doing it. Loves Uber. Makes way more money than he did before. It's the same. It's the same. It's the same idea, just better.
I guess that's the future then. All these local cab companies are gonna suck rocks, and
Yeah. Was the last time you took speed?
I don't know. It was always
Speed's always terrible.
Yeah, it was always unreliable.
Yeah, it was.
Apparently now they have apps and shit, just like Uber, just like Lyft, just like all the other fucking rideshare apps.
No, it would be the same without that guy going speed. It just wouldn't work. I don't want to get it from them unless it's the same guy.
Where are you?
Yeah, speed. Where are you? Where are you going? All right, 20 minutes. That's good. I miss that. It's people. It's human contact right there. I'll never forget that.
Yo, the future actually is going to be no taxi drivers, and it's going to be all fucking automated, like just blocks on wheels, like opens up, automatic. You just go in, sit there. It's like a bus that just leaves. You know,
Think car insurance would go up or down?
down.
I would hope so.
I mean,
I'll allow it if it lowers my car insurance.
well, for what we're talking about a world essentially where eventually like no one's going to own cars. Cars aren't even going to be something that like anyone would care to own. They're just gonna be like, why would I care about maintaining and owning a car? I could just take one of these blah blahs.
Oh yes, one of these blah blahs. I can't wait till we get to that point in life. So I shouldn't buy a car now because one day we'll be taking one of these blah blahs. You don't even have something to approve off of, like subway tubes where you just hop in and there's no traffic. You get there, you're like no blah blahs. That's what's coming.
No, but what I was saying, like self-driving cars, except they're not built with like a driver's seat or anything. They're literally just purely passenger vehicles, automated passenger vehicles that you could just summon, through like a service. They come, pick you up, drop you off. Don't have to worry about anything.
Yeah, what the car company's gonna say about that?
Well, they're probably gonna throw a shit fit.
But they got a lot of money to stop people from making it viable, like you did with the electric car in the 70s.
Oh yeah, it would definitely be a long and grueling and probably maybe never-ending battle. Maybe they would be like, you could take this industry from our cold, dead fingers, and maybe that's exactly what has to happen.
I think what it's going to be is they'll never this technology will have to be given to them, to the car companies that pay top dollar for it from, I guess, whatever government invents it or whoever invents it. Yeah. This way they'll have a chance to keep making money.
I'll tell you what, though. This would honestly, I would hate to admit it because I love driving. I like driving, but this would be a better world. I'm not stupid. I'm not gonna sit there and just be like, yeah, that would be a worse. No, that would probably honestly
I'm so lazy. Can't they go walk somewhere else and I can go drive somewhere else?
I mean, all right. Imagine just not having to worry about a car ever, and every time you needed to go somewhere, you just paid I don't know, it was such a such a what's the word? Fuck. Such a common service, I guess you could say that. It's you pay $5 a month of residential tax or your local tax or whatever, $5 a month or something, and you just have access to these hyper fast vehicles that just zip to you, pick you up, and then zip away. You don't even have to worry about traffic because it's all
they're gonna be we're gonna hire, we're gonna fire everyone in public transportation, all the drivers, everything like that.
That'll be
and we're gonna give you this service where you don't there's an automatic driver and you don't have to pay $5 a month because they'd be like, no, you have to pay more. Even though we're firing all these people.
Yeah, but if this shit takes it's all electric, takes barely any upkeep, it's all automated to the point where it's it's probably safer than relying on humans. Then it's
probably no, but I'm just saying it would be $5. Wouldn't be cheap.
How much? So you think it would still be on a ride to ride basis of charge?
No, probably.
Yeah, maybe.
I just don't see anyone like not wanting to make money anytime soon. So I don't see the city like I don't see a government doing that and not charging a lot. It'd be like you have to pay on a daily basis, like on every use rather, or you could pay up in installments, like a MetroCard type deal.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's like, please slide in your credit chip thing. Like,
please scan your wrist. Or scan your eyes.
Please place scrotum on scanner.
Cough. Your account has been found.
Yep.
The good new days.
Can't wait.
The good new world
of scrotum scanning taxi cabs.
How do I know you are who you say you are? Give me the scrotum scan.
Scan my scrotum, sir. I have nothing to hide. I'm exactly who I say I am.
Deep, like undercover FBI agents have to get their scrotums like
do we have
surgically altered.
Do we have a scrotum print?
Yeah.
We check, sir. How odd.
Johnson, try your scrotum. All right, sir.
Who doesn't leave a scrotum print?
It's the man from 20 years ago without the scrotum print.
The case that kept me up at night. The man with no scrotum. He just had naked raw balls.
It's a story they won't tell you. It's a man they didn't want you to know about.
Oh, that was a good show. You got to admit that was a good.
Yeah, I gotta
show.
watch more of it. I never really watched that much of it. I like the idea, though.
I think if you watch it from the beginning, you would get hooked. It's just like, remember what I told you with Star Trek, and you did get hooked?
Yeah, that's not fair.
I did the
It's
same
good.
thing. I think the same thing would happen with X-Files. If you started X-Files, you'd be like, this is fucking sick. Like, why did I watch this sooner? You know, because some of the shit on X-Files is literally like actually drawn from reports and stuff, and reports of strange paranormal activity. Between the two of us, I think I would be Mulder and you'd be Scully.
Which one's which?
Mulder is the believer, and Scully's the skeptic. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, totally. I'd be the skeptic. I'd be like, yeah, well, this is a bunch of bunk.
But that's what the team takes. That's why they made such a good team, because Mulder was the guy who go balls deep and is like, I don't know, Scully, maybe you should consider weird things more. You know, there's weird shit out there. And she's like, nah, dude. This ain't what you think it is. This is bullshit. All right, this is some stupid fucking trick.
Yeah,
and then it's usually a coin toss at the end of the episode. Was Mulder right? Was it really some weird ass shit, or was Scully right? And it was just a hoax. You know, like,
find out next week on X-Files.
It's a fun show. It's a classic like monster of the week type show, but it's like just. It had a good endearing dynamic between the two characters. I mean, it was at least good enough to fucking spawn a movie. You know.
This is true.
You're gonna get into X-Files. We should watch it together. I mean,
that.
but the thing is, I already got to a certain point past. Actually, you know what? Fuck it. I'll watch it over. Cause like the first seasons was like the first season, the earlier episodes, they were like the campiest episodes. They got more serious, like I think towards later seasons. I think it was around fourth or maybe third season where it started firing on all cylinders, so to speak.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of shows have to go through that.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And I don't know. It'd be interesting to see, like, in the hopefully not so distant future, where things like come out, you know, get released to the public gradually, drip fed into our public knowledge domain. And it would be fun to see like how much of the X-Files shit actually turned out to be pretty on par with the truth, you know? All right, so what do you think was the superior show? X-Files or The Twilight Zone?
I mean, that's which one did better? I mean, I think Twilight Zone is like affected pop culture far more than X-Files has, and X-Files is a result of a show like Twilight Zone existing. Like, it's Twilight Zone's a predecessor of that show. Like those weird sci-fi stories, episodic, like told episodically.
Mm-hmm. Except Twilight Zone was more of an anthology show. X-Files had like.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, it's yeah.
X-Files had continuity.
Right, right.
But there was some pretty good other like purely fictional anthology shows like Are You Afraid of the Dark?
That's a good show.
That was a good fucking show,
That was
right?
a really good show. I like little scary stories. Who doesn't like that? Who doesn't like little short stories?
Oh my god, yeah.
Yeah. Little creative little short stories.
That was a good fucking show. They made a movie, or I think they made a remake of that show. Yeah, they made like a newer version of that show, which is fucking great. Great idea. If I was a kid, I'll be watching the shit out of that.
Yeah, made me think of some weird shit. Saw some scary shit.
Do you remember the Goosebumps show?
I know what you're about to say next. Yeah.
Yeah.
I liked Are You Afraid of the Dark more, but yes, I remember that one.
Are You Afraid of the Dark was definitely had more chops. Another show that was weirdly deep for a kid to watch or to get into, not even the show really, but also the book series, was Animorphs.
Yeah, I watched a bit of Animorphs.
I would say Animorphs is like, it was the kind of like cult beloved, cult-like worshipped fucking kind of story. I could see it blossoming into that because first of all, it was dark as shit. Second of all, I don't know, there was a lot of material in there.
I don't remember much of it. But that was a good show.
Hells yeah. Well, we're about ready to wrap this up. Well, it was good chatting with you, Chris. I hope this was a good time of reflection and consideration and self-discovery for you and the viewers. And
For me.
Good. Hopefully we can do this again sooner. How did you like the whiskey, or is it Scotch? It's whiskey.
It's bourbon, I believe.
It's bourbon. Okay.
Monkey Shoulder is Scotch. My mistake.
Scotch.